How is Trevor Bauer not signed to an MLB team? While major league teams are reporting for spring training, Trevor is currently making the rounds on the LA podcast circuit, borderline begging for Major League Baseball teams to take a very low-risk chance on him for the 2024 season.
I just want to play. That's where I'm at. I'll play for league minimum.
Bauer has essentially been blackballed by Major League Baseball because in 2021, Bauer was accused of assault by Lindsey Hill and eventually 3 other women, while Hill's accusation being the most credible at the time. Bauer's situation has been pretty extensively covered here on YouTube, and at the time, mainstream media. So I won't go into great detail about that case. I more want to look ahead of what could be in the future for Bauer and whatever team takes a chance on him. But first, I need to quickly sum up the resolution of the accusations. Basically, Bauer was accused of violently assaulting Miss Hill during a sexual encounter in 2021, which he immediately denied and countersued. As the legal battle ensued, Major League Baseball suspended Bauer an unprecedented 324 games for violating the league's domestic violence and sexual assault policy. This would later be reduced to 194 games, but still an astronomical number. Bauer was eventually released by the Dodgers because of these allegations. It took over 2 years for the two parties to reach a settlement in late 2023, with neither side accepting blame and no money changing hands. From the beginning, Bauer was emphatic about his innocence in this case. And since the lawsuit was over, Bauer was finally free to talk about the details of this case, and he brought receipts. Now, with texts, photos, and videos obtained by his legal team during the court proceedings, he was able to completely flip the narrative of the past 2 years. It was the strongest statement that he could have made that, in lieu of a proper not guilty judgment, cleared his name of a very serious charge. But unfortunately, in today's world, the apology or retraction is always quieter than the original accusations. Now that unpleasantness is behind us, and this video is more than likely suppressed because of the content is not suitable for most advertisers, let's talk about who should take a chance on Trevor Bauer. The San Diego Padres are the first team that comes to mind because it's wild to me that with all the talented hitters in that lineup combined with the NL Cy Young winner, the Padres couldn't even make the playoffs. Adding another Cy Young winner on a league minimum contract seems like too much sense. But what I think is holding back the Padres is Bauer has a history with the star hitters of San Diego. While playing for the Dodgers, Bauer had faced the Padres regularly and had his back and forth moments with Fernando Tatis Jr. Adding another, let's call it strong personality to that clubhouse could be a recipe for disaster with too many distractions for an already distracted organization. The St. Louis Cardinals are another team that could benefit from Bauer's services. Trevor has expressed his interest in the Cardinals via Twitter, and their lack of consistent pitching in 2023 led them to also miss the playoffs, sporting an abysmal team ERA that placed them 12th out of 15th in the National League. But everything I've read on the internet in regards to Bauer and the Cardinals is that no one in St. Louis wants him, citing all the talking points listed so far. But if I've learned anything from the St. Louis Cardinal fans I've met over the years, is that they think they're God's gift to baseball, especially in the National League. That they are better than everyone, and Trevor Bauer and his baggage is beneath them. Bauer definitely has baggage. Whether it's deserved or not, it is there. But don't act like he won't help your team at an unbeatable price. Before I talk about the last team that I think would be the best fit for Trevor Bauer, let's address his deserved baggage. Trevor is a character. He is cocky on the mound, and he plays with a swagger that infuriates the old heads of baseball. He reportedly has one of the most unorthodox and borderline dangerous warm-up routines, and has butted head with a lot of past coaching staffs because of it. But one thing that is undeniable about Trevor is he backs up his antics. No scrub would be able to get away with all of his previous baggage if they didn't produce when they were given the mound to pitch. Even with all his bullshit, teams clamored for his services, so much so that for a brief moment in Major League Baseball history, they made him the highest paid player ever. So the fact that some teams are holding this seemingly obvious extortion hoax against him, while they all turned a blind eye to the legitimate and quantifiable distractions, seems ass backwards. The team that I think most makes sense for Trevor Bauer is the Arizona Diamondbacks. As we saw in the World Series, the Diamondbacks were one solid starter away from making the World Series competitive. That bullpen game in a critical Game 4 was the beginning of the end for what ended up being an underwhelming World Series. Bauer would immediately fill that very noticeable gap in the rotation, and Arizona would sport one of the most dominant postseason pitching rotations since, well, the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks with Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. The Diamondbacks weren't expected to make the playoffs in 2023, much less the World Series. With that postseason success, owner Ken Kendrick has gone on record saying that the financial windfall from the playoffs has encouraged him to spend more money on the roster in the near future. Which, first off, hi Mr. Kendrick, welcome to how Major League Baseball works. Thanks for giving a shit now that you see dollar signs, but this is encouraging news as a fan of the Diamondbacks. Say, who is the Diamondbacks' highest paid player on the payroll currently? It's Madison Bumgarner, who, in his tenure in the desert, really put the bum in Bumgarner. He was DFA'd halfway through the 2023 season because he was that bad. Could have used his legendary postseason performances in October, but with his pitching so bad during the season, there was no way the Diamondbacks sniffed the playoffs with his production. But nonetheless, he is getting $14 million from the Diamondbacks in 2024. So money well spent, Ken. Getting Trevor Bauer on a league minimum contract could be the best case scenario for a historically cheap owner like Ken Kendrick. His contract would be incentive based, so the better Trevor plays, the more money Trevor makes. And the better Trevor plays means more likely the team will compete in October again. And in turn, will make the team more money. It's literally the best deal in all of sports since the Chicago Bulls swindled Scottie Pippen in the 90s. But the most important aspect of this potential deal is the Diamondbacks are in the same division as the Dodgers, who have completely reloaded because they just signed Shohei Ohtani and Yoshi Yamamoto for a combined $1 billion. You need to spend money just to keep up with them. Trevor has also said he is committed to being a positive influence to the community of the team he plays for next. Trevor already has a connection to the Valley in that he trains in Phoenix and is pretty familiar with how life works in the desert. No athlete accused of these terrible crimes has proclaimed their innocence as fiercely, faced as much media bullshit and league punishments, just to eventually prove their innocence quite like Trevor Bauer has. It's just hard to watch Trevor Bauer beg to play for the league minimum, while athletes like Deshaun Watson and his open 24 assault cases and a guaranteed $230 million contract to be trash for the Cleveland Browns. All signs point that this is the most logical destination for Trevor. But will it happen? I think it should. The fact that he can't get signed is a slap in the face of justice, and as a Diamondbacks fan, I would love to sign Trevor today, but I'm also a former Diamondbacks employee, and I'm a little familiar with how they operate. The Arizona Diamondbacks are all about being the most fan-friendly team in baseball. They hate anything remotely controversial or even edgy, and bringing Trevor Bauer into that Disney level of self-image goes against the grain hard. Too hard for the Diamondbacks. Which is why I ultimately think they won't sign him, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope this video's shelf life is a week, if that. But hey, signing Trevor Bauer could distract everyone from this very weird, passive-aggressive back and forth about a new stadium that has felt like it's dragged on for close to a decade now, but now has been escalated with vague threats of moving the team.
Communities, but we are aware of what is going on. There is likely to be in time an expansion of our sport to a couple of additional cities. Cities are letting MLB know their interest. Their interest in getting a team is specific. They would be happy with a brand new franchise, but they would certainly be very happy, with frankly a successful existing franchise.
Do the right thing, Arizona. Give Trevor Bauer that second chance he absolutely deserves. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Proud of you. What are your thoughts on the Trevor Bauer situation? Leave it in the comments and let's have a conversation, because I think this is a gross injustice against him. Other than that, leave a like, subscribe, and catch you in the next one. Well, playa!